Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
Oh, man. I'm thrilled because we're back to normal. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
That's right. Last week, I just talked for like an hour without stopping.
We just proved that, like, I'm here for you to talk to.
I mean, I think the show was very much lacking because we didn't have you talking as well.
No way.
Well, we needed it.
You're very nice.
But I'm excited because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. But before we do, I want to remind our viewers, if you were watching the show live, you can sponsor today's show by using Super Chats. Ask a question or comment, read it here on the show, and you'll be part of the show. We're going to do that towards the end of the show, just to make sure that everybody gets their moment in the sun. Before we do that, we're also going to be talking about this new Green Lanterns news. I'm excited because they finally, it looks like they've officially cast the new Hal Jordan in James Gunn's Green Lanterns show. I think it's called Lanterns. I don't think it's called Green Lanterns. And by the way, if you're going to call your show that debuts the Green Lanterns Lanterns, you better have other color lanterns in your show. You know, you better have some violet lanterns. You better have some black lanterns.
Wait,
and not just Jon Stewart. I mean, like, actual, honest to God, zombie lanterns.
I think it's okay to just start with it being like Hal and John
and Guy.
And
Guy. I mean, Guy was the first cast lantern in the Gunn universe.
Yeah.
I mean, Nathan Fillion being Guy is a great idea. Saw him from the onset photos from the Superman movie.
But it's interesting, the idea of him being, like, older.
They're all older.
Yeah, but, like, him being possibly the oldest of them.
Yes. Yeah. I don't like that idea.
Why not?
Oh, because it means that the Guardians are like, boy, we really screwed up with the Earthlings. We started with Guy. Oops.
Or not, he could have gotten it later.
Yeah.
Like, why do you have to, like, that's ageist?
I guess. I don't care about being ageist. The old people don't care. They're not watching the show.
Why couldn't, like, a grandma get the lantern?
Because I can't expect you to learn all this crap and be effective for long. It's why you hire younger people to do a job you expect them to do for a while.
She's like, listen. I need to call my grandson and figure out why my power battery.
Then why don't I make him a Green Lantern?
Because he doesn't have the morality.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Anyway, this is all to say that they officially picked Kyle Chandler, the dad from Super 8, to be Hal Jordan. There were a number of names in the running. I didn't see his name in any of them, but I love Kyle Chandler. I think he's a great actor. I think he'd be a fantastic Hal. The fact that they're suggesting that this might be his only appearance means that I think the murder mystery is that Hal has been killed in the Lanterns show. Oh. And so they're going to have to bring in, like, you know, John to figure it out. Like, your first order of business is to solve the murder of the greatest Green Lantern of all time. And that's going to be sad because
now.
Yeah, right. And then John will be obviously great until he blows up a planet. But, like, Kyle Chandler being Hal, if you don't think of any of the other stuff, you know, about, like, Hal only being in this one thing, about, you know, Hal being old, I think it works. I mean, he'd be a great choice.
Yeah.
So I'm down.
Yeah, maybe they're gonna parallax him.
That'd be fine too. But I think
it'd be amazing for Gunn to come out swinging like that.
Yeah, be like, this is Parallax.
We're leading up to Parallax.
Right, the greatest Green Lantern. Yeah, the greatest Green Lantern of all time falls, and then Superman / the new Justice League has to deal with it. That'd be a lot of fun. That being said, 0 Hour is not exactly what I would start with when it comes to adaptations. I mean, you got to explain who Extant is. You got to deal with Parallax. Wave Rider is going to come into play at some point or another. I was just complaining about Wave Rider today because I was talking to Joshua Williamson, co-host of All Stars, a podcast you do on this channel, which, by the way, like and subscribe. I should mention that a new episode of All Stars will drop tomorrow. It's a great episode. I actually managed to convince Josh to stay after the show was done recording for long enough for StreamYard to upload his portion of the podcast. So I got high def versions of both us talking at once and me and him talking separately, so I could cut all of it together and actually have, you know, different points of view or perspective and stuff like that. So It's a gorgeous looking episode. Okay. I also have pictures every like 5 or 3 minutes. So it's a really good looking episode. And it's also a lot of fun to listen to as well, because of course, Josh is a fantastic host and a font of information. Yes. He reminded me of a thing that we need to talk about. I sent an email.
We're getting away from Wave Rider.
Right. Yeah. But
I wanted to point out are 2 words that I've not heard more than since I've met you.
That's true. Well, I mean, why would you say it unless I was a surfer or something? But yeah, Wave Rider, man. Josh is introducing Doomsday again into his Superman book. He also sniped Dan Mora away from Justice League. So Dan Mora and Josh are going to be working on Superman, and Doomsday is escaping from hell to refight Superman. I'm so on board for that.
Yeah, okay.
Especially like a hellfire Doomsday. It's Doomsday, but also on fire. You're basically getting Superman versus the Balrog, and I'm so on board for that. And I was like, Josh, I got to tell you, man, like, and this is just a thought I had today. He sent me a picture of an awesome looking Spider-Man 90s animated series action figure, but it's too rich for my blood. He was like, oof, I don't know if I need this that bad. But while we were talking, I was like, dude, I've been waiting for an awesome Superman versus Doomsday fight that doesn't include Wave Rider for a long time, because you got to put that caveat.
Is he's like, no, but Wave Rider will be there.
I don't know, because it's Josh. You could get Wave Rider in there, because if anyone's going to put Wave Rider in a book, it's probably going to be Josh.
Right. So here's a question. I'm just noticing chat here, right?
Yeah.
Talking about Hal's age.
Right. I mean, for so many people, including James Gunn, I'll bet most of us know Hal Jordan to have gray in his temples.
Right. So that's what I think is interesting. Like, there seems to be such like a in the chat vibe.
Yeah.
Chat vibes solo. So
and Twitter.
And like the age thing. And that's really interesting to me, because so what do you want then? Do you want like
I think
do you want a Mary Sue of a Hal Jordan in which he's like super young and also the greatest Green Lantern ever?
I think
who's had like a wealth of stories and adventures and knowledge, and is able to like bring forth like amazing abilities and foster learning in other lanterns. But make him young, because somehow he's done that in honestly like 6 months.
Okay, so here's
let me that's what I don't understand.
Let me explain my perspective on why I want a young
hear.
Green Lantern, because I want him to be Green Lantern for more than one movie. Like, I would like to see, my reason why I'm like, oh, why don't you cast young? Like, cast a young Batman, cast a young Superman, is because I want them to be those characters for a while. And I'm so sick of movies that are adaptations of comic book characters that are essentially their last ride.
Right. Okay.
Like, those should be special, unique, and rare. Like, man, I remember when they were tossing around an idea of casting Clint Eastwood as Batman and doing a Dark Knight Returns movie.
Yeah.
And it was like, that would be a rare thing.
Okay.
That would be an exception. And then they were like, how about a 50-year-old Ben Affleck Batman debuting in this story? So he's already had a million adventures and you will see 0 of them.
Okay.
Like, it's so frustrating. It'd be like if you cast Spider-Man and he's 50. You're just like, oh, so he's only going to be Spider-Man in like 2 movies, and they're all going to be about how old he is, because otherwise it's weird. Otherwise you're just trying to convince the audience he's not old, and then it just is sad. If this Hal Jordan, Kyle Chandler was like, I'm just in the prime of my life. It's like, dude, who are you trying to fool? Like, I appreciate that anyone can do anything at any point in their lives, and I don't want to sound like ageist, because I don't think I am, but I also want him to be. I want him to be Hal Jordan longer than the one appearance he's going to have in this one show.
I'm not legitimately arguing one over the other. I just think it's so interesting that we're all totally cool with Doctor Strange being the age he is.
Right. Well,
and that no one really cares about seeing his rise to power at a younger age. I just think that's really interesting.
I don't think the benefit.
That's fine. Like,
Cumberbatch wasn't that old. He just looks weird.
Right, but he has like that aged look. Like, he has a wise look to him.
Yeah, but that's because it's Doctor Strange.
That's totally fine for him.
Because Strange is wise.
I know, but I'm just saying. No, Hal Jordan at this point is
right. Yeah, but I've never seen him before.
Well, you did technically.
Yeah. No, I didn't. Not in this. Not in this universe.
I know, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just so funny. It's just so
funny. With Cumberbatch, that was a tough row to hoe, because you needed him to be believable as being new and youngish, but also wise, and you have to believe him being like a scholar.
So here's really like, I want to try to get to what I think might really be the core of this, right?
Okay.
Is that when you take characters like Green Lanterns, like just in general, right?
Yeah, like any Green Lantern.
Green Lanterns just in general. Well, like the Lantern Corps.
Okay.
Of our Earth-based.
The Earth. Yeah.
There's so many of them.
Yeah.
And
Joe, Simons, John, Hal, Guy, Jesse.
Yeah.
There's so many more. Kyle.
Right. Like, there's so many of them, so that when they go to make a movie about it or a show, which at least you're getting a show, because you're going to have a lot more opportunity to have more character development, have more characters show up, as opposed to being in like a 2-hour, 2.5-hour movie,
Right.
right?
Unless he's dead.
Right.
And all you're getting are
I get
flashbacks
it.
to
I get
being
it.
Green Lantern.
I understand that. But the fact is, it's like the creators of those are going to have to like make decisions, because it's like at the end of the day, it can't be about necessarily all of them. There's usually
You have to
like,
focus on
you
somebody.
gotta have like a focal point.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, you need a point of view character.
And I think the issue is that maybe the focal point isn't the lantern.
Yeah.
That everyone.
Yeah.
Want, or that some folk want. Like,
no, I know.
At the end of the day, like if they made Jon Stewart like Idris Elba.
Yes. What's funny is here's the contradiction.
Yeah.
If it was Idris Elba, no one would complain.
Well, he's an amazing actor.
Right. And it's like,
I'm not saying,
you know what it is, and I think, and
here
here it is. I think that there are more comic book fans of Hal than John.
I hear
and
you.
I think there are more Idris Elba fans
I hear you.
than Jon Stewart fans.
No, I completely.
So I think with that kind of crossover, everyone's down.
I completely hear
Even
you.
though it does have it, and for me, it's the exact same thing. I'm like, look, I want Idris Elba to be in the DC universe. I want him to be John, but it would be my death of a thousand. I'd be like, oh, it's a shame that we're gonna have to not do that, because I'm gonna be holding true to the value of he's gotta be in the movies longer. You gotta stick around.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, I'm using that as an example of like people being like,
of contradictions.
Of like being like, well, it's okay to not see his journey.
Yeah.
Like,
oh no,
so
we could just assume. Well, and that the other reason is because John has fewer adventures than Hal. Hal has more. If you want the first appearance of Hal Jordan, you got to go back. You got to go back far. John was invented in the 70s. Hal was invented in like the 50s. It's tough.
I just think it's interesting, and it has a lot to do with the fact that I feel like people also feel like they got done dirty.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, you got a whole Hal movie and it sucks.
That. I totally understand that. I feel like folks are like, I got done dirty.
Right.
I never got to actually.
They made one
Hal.
movie that actually did all the things,
and Hal never got to hang out with all of his friends.
No, well he did. Listen. If you put on paper, if you go back to your younger self and you can't show them anything, you can only write down the guy from Waiting and Van Wilder is going to play Hal Jordan. There's going to be literally Oa. You're going to have Toma Ray. You're going to have Kilowog, and Sinestro is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Right? And it's going to be the most expensive DC movie ever, and it's going to set up the DC universe, and Amanda Waller is going to be the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
People would lose their effing minds.
Yeah,
and then they saw it, and they were like, oh, never mind.
Right.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
But but like on paper, that Green Lantern movie does all the things I want them to do with the DC universe, where it's like cast a young charismatic actor to play the character.
Yeah.
Be true to their origins. Go with a fan favorite villain, like Hector Hammond.
Yeah.
All these things, and then just do. Oh, but not like that.
Right.
But it is not like that.
I completely understand that. Like, I completely understand, but like, I can also understand.
Yeah.
DC maybe being like, I know that like people really aren't going to compare it. But
they are.
But they wanted
you
to.
Can't.
I can totally see them wanting to be like, just push it as far.
Absolutely.
Over there
it is a bad look for a studio to have multiple franchises that are in separate universes that are obviously looked at as do-overs.
Yeah.
Like you can't be like, here's our do-over Batman movie. Here's our Spider-Man's okay because Spider-Man makes $1 billion whether he's in an Avengers movie or not.
Yeah.
Like that's just Spider-Man is a whole other ball of wax or webs for that matter. So let's jump into some other things.
Yeah,
Hal
absolutely.
Jordan, but Hal's cast and it's
it's so interesting because it's like I'm not an avid Green Lantern reader. My favorite Lantern is obviously because of a cartoon show.
Yeah.
I love
most
John.
people love John because of the cartoon show.
I love John.
Yeah.
I like his story. I like his complexity.
Yep.
I like how because to me sometimes when people talk about Hal, like he doesn't come off as like grounded as John comes across. It's the same reason why I like Predator too. Like
because John is also a reaction. Yeah,
right,
you do. You like grizzled old black protagonists. I get you, but
I mean, like I like the character who's like pitted against something fantastical, but is more grounded. And so like maybe that's why I feel like that. Even though like obviously as you like stick in the Green Lantern world, that's going to become less and less so because it's your job requires it, right? So like for me, I just didn't think twice about why like that there would be like a reaction.
No, I knew there was going to be a lot, but also because like Green Lantern fans are vocal. And they don't get a lot. I mean, even though you did have a full ass CG cartoon show that was also grounded in the comic books, you got a whole ass movie that cost like $200 million. You got you got constant references and like get references and appearances in other Justice League related like media,
Yeah.
like in the cartoons and so forth. It's just that Hal was always left out. Hal was left out in the 90s Superman, in the Justice League Unlimited, in all those things. And also, Hal was only just getting started in the new 90s era when like Death of Superman affected everything, and they were like, "Oh, make him a bad guy."
Yeah, no,
and most people, and listen, I hate to say it, but Hal looks cooler as Parallax than any other version of Green Lantern.
I understand that.
So it's like it's gonna stick, it's gonna last, even though I'm still waiting for more Parallax action figures.
I also like I note, and like it's not everybody. It's just I noticed in the chat though that it seems like if like some Hal fans are like your immediate reaction to hearing someone talk passionately about another Lantern is to say,
"What about Hal?"
Well, that person's dull, or they're not very exciting, or whatever.
Like
but
Joe.
I don't seem
It's
to
like,
see a lot of fans of other Lanterns going like,
yeah, no one who's like, "I love John and I hate Hal."
Yeah, it's just like I just prefer him.
Yeah.
It's
And there's any number of reasons why.
I just think that's interesting.
At least we all know that no one prefers Simon. But
let's
sorry.
be honest. I feel like he got done dirty with his costume.
He got his
Like,
costume sucked.
I don't like that.
His
costume
costume sucked ass.
I
He
feel
had
that's not
he had
fair.
guns, and it's just like, okay, I'm sorry, but like if you are doing Green Lantern, part of the fun is the things he makes with the ring, not that he also has some guns.
Yeah,
it's just not gonna work.
Yeah,
but sorry.
But like,
time is on my side on Simon.
I just feel like he could do better.
Yeah.
If maybe we just
redesign him.
Let's just take a look.
Oh
at
yeah,
stuff.
no, you need
What
to
is
you need
not
to
working,
Kyle
what is working.
Rayner Simon.
I guess.
Like you need to have Simon have like except for all the other things, no fridging, but like you need Simon to be like, you know what, I'm going to own it. I'm going to make my own. I mean, he did, and then that was the result. But that wasn't his fault. That was the designer's fault.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway.
So, all right. Sorry. That was like our 15-minute long conversation
about
on
Green Lantern.
Lanterns.
So,
and
as you can tell, the audience
just
is
me
loving
asking
it.
questions. Like I just legitimately, I am. I'm not trying to critique anyone on their opinion of any of this. I just thought it was honestly interesting that people had such a reaction.
It's true.
To the age of the actor for this.
They're always going to have that reaction.
Sure.
I mean, we released a short both on this channel and also on our TikTok at ComicPop, if you're interested. No one follows us there. But we did this whole little thing. I actually Mr. Sunday Movies it, where I was like, let me just not show us at all. Just take a snippet from off the rack and then just put in videos.
Yep.
Clips from the thing, Futurama references, all that stuff. And in it, I talked about how, there's two options for the DC universe where it's like, let Matt Reeves do whatever the hell he's going to do for his two Batman movies and then go away.
Right.
And then please integrate Robert Pattinson's Batman into the DC universe and just like say, yeah, no, all that grounded cool stuff happened. It's in Gotham. Gotham's a dark, grounded place. But also Superman exists. Or you're going to reboot, which of course they suggested they were going to do in the first place. They were always like going to do a new Batman. That was the whole plan, I'm sure, from the jump. But also they offered Christian Bale like a lot of money to come back and be Batman in the Superman universe after Zack Snyder took over. And it's like, yo, listen, if you think that Warner Brothers isn't thinking about making Robert Pattinson Batman in this new universe, you are deluding yourself. Now, will that happen? No. Am I saying that's the case? No, because I know people seem to think that when I say subjective things, it sounds like it's a truth when it's actually an opinion, and it is. And I don't need to say that things are opinions in order to say an opinion. But anyway, I've said that before. The point being, when it comes to this kind of stuff, it's always up in the air.
Yeah.
I mean, also, Hal could always die and then become Parallax anyway, and then come back to life, and then he's a little younger, or whatever. I don't know. But it sounds like they have a plan. Tom King's involved, so I trust it.
Someone's gonna be sad.
They're gonna be very sad.
It's gonna be John.
It's gonna be John. He's gonna be very sad. Well, and what's interesting is he's the only one that's not cast. We got Hal, Guy, and John. And we don't know who the hell John is. And when we find out, if John is half of Kyle Chandler's age, then you'll know who the primary DC Universe Green Lantern is.
Now, if it's just like three old dudes, I gotta
then
tell
it's like,
you,
if it's Idris Elba, it's like, oh my God, now I don't know what the hell to think.
Like,
is it going to be Simon? No!
He just shows up with the mask. I'm ready.
It's me! Blam, blam, blam! We hate you. Also, or it's like Joe or Jesse. Just weird. Hi, I'm agoraphobic and sad, and I have a Green Lantern ring, and it's not even from this reality. I think it's the Crimson against Green Lantern.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. If it is Idris Elba, then it's like, I don't. Oh, what the hell? What fresh hell is this? It'll be awesome and fun to watch. Three great actors just doing their thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm down for whatever, because I just trust this universe.
Listen, whatever.
you know, I don't know.
Listen, the first time didn't work.
No.
So
Why not now?
How about this?
Yeah, that didn't work so hard. They recast Amanda Waller. So, and for the better, by the way. Both those actors were great as Amanda
Yeah.
Waller. It's just that, like,
Yeah.
one really one DC completely embraced, and the other one got recast. So yeah,
I know we have a lot to cover.
We
here,
do. We have a lot to
so
cover. There's so much to cover.
Let's get going.
All right, the moon is
let's do
following
this.
us.
It is.
Apparently,
It better be, especially with that little mini moon.
we got a mini moon now, and it's definitely following us.
Showing up.
Yeah, you mentioned that to me in private, where you were like, "Hey, looks like they were really."
Chibi Moon has entered the
Chibi
chat.
Moon has entered the chat.
I was like, oh no. Wait, no, that's fine.
Yeah. Oh, before we get started, I also want to say thank you to IDW for shooting us a trade paperback copy
Sending
of
us
Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees from Patrick Horvath. This book we talked about before. It's ridiculous. It's
trying so hard to make
all fully painted. It's beautiful. This collection itself, while it is a trade paperback, is also really well put together, very nicely bound. It's got some great goodies at the end, some gorgeous extra art. If you enjoyed Horvath's art, you're going to love this. But yeah, fantastic stuff. Interesting book. Actually, Patrick Horvath and Scott Snyder were both on this channel talking to each other. And you should definitely check out that conversation if you were just going to go through the archives. Just mine the channel. But yeah, gorgeous looking book. Really fun, critically acclaimed, and also available now in trades. So you can pick this up from IDW. Good stuff. And big thanks to them for shooting us a copy. Because we talked about it, and why not? But yeah, the moon is following us, folks. This is, of course, written and drawn by Daniel Warren Johnson and Riley Rossmo in a brand new fantasy adventure that is also, of course, deeply sad. It is exactly what you'd expect from a Daniel Warren Johnson joint at this point.
Okay. Well, Mike Spicer?
Yeah, of course. Mike Spicer colors everything that Daniel Warren Johnson does.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. No, great stuff. This is, I don't want to give anything away, but let's just say that it opens in a fantastical, high-flying, almost patchwork fantasy realm, navigated by a mother and father or husband and wife duo who keep referring to their daughter, who is in a state of peril, and they are entering this realm to rescue her. So it's watch this mother and father who are pushed to the brink of their own sanity and their marriage to rescue their daughter from this fantastical realm that she's in.
Okay.
It's beautiful. Rossmo does the fantasy world.
Okay.
And Daniel Warren Johnson does the real world.
Oh, okay.
And it's interesting because Rossmo and Johnson have similar styles, very loose, fantastical, stylized.
Yeah.
And Spicer linking them with their colors really, really makes it blend together. But I should say that Johnson brings the heat when you get into the real world again. There's a moment in this book, which I will not give away, that channels like a Barry Windsor Smith-esque feeling of wires and grit and horror that I'm like, I was like, oh, Daniel Warren Johnson's doing a new book, pre-ordered.
Yeah.
That's coming to my house.
Done. Love it.
Yeah, but yeah, pick up The Moon is Following Us if you're interested.
I love it.
It's good. It's good stuff.
Fantastic.
I agree. It is fantastic. I also leafed through. I didn't get a chance to read all of it, but Avengers 18, Jed McKay, Valeria Skeety. Great art from Skeety, of course, as always. I'm not reading these kind of Avengers story. I don't care. If you put Vision on the Avengers, I'm like, all right, well, bye. But
why?
Because he represents a boring, impenetrable period of Avengers for me that I'm just not there for.
Okay.
A very non-Spider-Man period of Avengers for me. But yeah, Hyperion's back. He's just arrived from another reality, and he's here to mess with everybody. The point of this story is really just to explain why Storm is on the Avengers now, and it's basically that Thor is out. He's like, I am doing an amazing book right now that Sal isn't reading, and I need to get back to it, and I need to explain why I'm not here. And also, Brevoort is creating synergy between these books again, and so as a result, we need to kind of cross-pollinate. And so we need an Avenger to be an X-Man. How are we going to make that happen? Basically, Thor asks Storm. He's like, he calls her the Wind Rider, which I love. And he's just like,
it's because it's like Wave Rider.
No! And he's like, they're going to need someone like me, and and the only other person on this earth is you.
Okay.
And she's like, all right, Thor. I'm
All
like,
right.
dope. I'm in. Very cool. And also Hyperion's a great like option to showcase, to be like, oh, here's somebody that the Avengers really need a powerhouse to deal with. Like the new Avengers, my team would have been like, we need something to deal with it. I guess that back then it would have been the Sentry to deal with it, which would have been actually very apropos given some Thunderboltsing. Sure. Yeah. So by the way, we aren't talking about the Thunderbolts trailer because we're doing a separate video where we're going to react to the Thunderbolts trailer.
I haven't seen it, so
Timmy hasn't seen it, so don't give it away. But
apparently I have to see it.
It's cool. I'll just a little spoiler. I was like, oh, it's really good looking. Oh no.
Oh boy. Okay, here we go.
So yeah, what did you read?
What did I read? I read
Should we talk about Hellblazer now?
No. Let's talk about Ghost Rider.
Oh, you mean the Spirits of Vengeance?
Yeah, or whatever it was called. Vengeance.
Spirits of Vengeance #1.
Spirits of Vengeance #1, written by Sabir Prezada with art by Sean Damian Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Vengeance is like kind of a blind spot for me in terms of Ghost Rider. That's
completely fair, which is interesting because he came right around the same period that you've been collecting Catch.
I know.
Which I'm like,
I know. I think I have such a like visceral reaction,
disdain
to his design without knowing much about him. He just feels like a product of a group of people who are like, we need to get this going harder than it already is.
Right.
How do you take a skeleton man who's on fire, who rides a motorcycle and has chains and spikes, and make it more extreme?
Yeah. Give him tusks.
Done. It's fine. It's like, this was not one of my favorites in terms of Ghost Rider. But like I see the appeal of it. You know, if you read the end of it from the editor, it's about like this idea of like this time for Ghost Rider where it was like everything that was happening was like this big bombastic, like, you know, like pedal to the metal kind of like book. And like that is what they're trying to do here. And it's like, with that in mind, this is doing everything it would like to do. Right. It is definitely a little like fluff for me. Not that I need all of my books to have like a lot of depth happening within them, especially when
it is a Ghost Rider book.
It is a Ghost Rider book. But this just felt like there was like 2 moments in here which just made me think of horror movies, and that's not where we're going with this, right? Like literally, like Vengeance has become a scarecrow in a field. And that like the way he's like dressed low-key gave me Jeepers Creepers 2 vibes, right? 2, not 1. Jeepers Creepers 1 is I like that movie. Jeepers Creepers 2,
no.
You know, you get a group of friends.
But what about Jeepers Creepers?
I never saw Jeepers.
Nobody saw the Jeepers.
Anyway, and then also like there's a dare from this group, because it's a group of kids. Like everything about this says we're doing a horror movie, and we're not, and that's like.
But aren't they? I mean, if they're doing it, then why aren't they? I mean,
I don't know, and that's what really gets me, right? Like, there's like, oh, it's like you know, Vengeance has been separated from like his human host essentially.
Oh,
it's like he's got to save him, and like we're good. Like Johnny Blaze is in too, and like whatever. Like we're
it looks like they're all in
we're
it. We're
referencing a lot of it's just those 2 for right now.
Oh, because on the cover you got all 3.
I know,
but
this issue, I just want to talk about just this issue.
Okay.
But it's like yeah, like and like I get it, and like it's making a lot of references to like books from the 80s and all of that, and it's just okay. I appreciate this is coming from a place of people who are like passionate about this. The editor was like, you know, grew up or like, you know, read, you know, the Jason Aaron stuff, like and like
fair.
And then like has now gone back and read it all. So I was like, that's cool. Like we have like an editor who's like really passionate about this. They wrote the letter on the back.
Devin Lewis,
right? Neat. But it's like you set me up to think we're doing a horror movie. Bunch of kids in a cornfield. They dare one of the girls to kiss him, and it's literally like the scene from Cabin in the Woods with the wolf head.
Yes.
Right, where she like kisses it and like, you know, leaves lipstick on his like teeth. Which, by the way, later on is just gone. I'm like, I guess when he was like woke up, like it burned off. I love the idea of him running around with like just the pink.
Yeah, but then he looks like an idiot. You want to, you know, if you want to get Vengeance working
I don't want him to look like an idiot.
No.
But like we set that up, like the kids, like 2 of them are stranded there in the cornfield, like the guy of it's a guy and a girl. Like the other two are trying to set them up.
Uh-huh.
You know, he turns out to kind of be a piece of crap.
Okay.
You know, and like Vengeance like comes to life and like, you know, burns his hand, but they get away, right? And I'm
Oh.
like, okay, like we are doing like some sort of like horror movies, but we're not. And like it just was very strange to me. You gave me this Jeepers Creepers 2 Cabin in the Woods vibes, and then we're like, no, we're not doing that.
I mean, I think it's just this is a consequence of modern comic writing where it's like it's a lot of homage, but it's not a lot of like substance.
Well, and again, I know what we're doing here, and this is really just trying to show you like crazy fights, you know, like fire, flame, violence, blood, this, that, the other, like bikes. That's what this is trying to do. So I'm really not going to give it marks off for that lack of substance. I am going to give it marks off again for like leading me in one direction and then like taking that away from me. Like that, I'm like, eh.
Right.
Well,
overall, like, if you're not going to do that, then what are you going to do?
Right.
Like, what do you have now? Now that you've done your references and your homages.
Well, it's like we're literally doing a book about vengeance, which I think is so funny because it's like no one's really been focusing on vengeance, right?
No,
like
the character.
The character.
Uppercase vengeance.
Uppercase,
the book isn't themed to be about vengeance. Yeah.
You know, it's been a lot about Blaze. Obviously, Danny, they were just like they didn't know what to do with them. Robbie, they seem to have almost forgotten exists.
Yep.
So it's like let's bring vengeance back, like, and see what we can do with
see if anybody responds to this.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, all right, let's see where this is gonna go.
But you're not gonna see where this is.
I don't know. We'll see. Hill does a nice job art wise. The coloring choice is interesting. It's very light colored, like it's like very bright, and that's like so the opposite of what I expected.
Yeah.
And like some of it's like fine at times, like, but like there's a dinosaur in this.
Yes, I saw.
It's really well rendered.
Yeah, it looked great.
The dinosaur is really well rendered.
Looked better than some of the people.
And it's so funny to me because like the dinosaur shows up under the guise of you think it's something else, and the dinosaur shows up, and like I was like a dinosaur, and then I was like, oh no, wait, they live in a world where there's dinosaurs.
You can just go to the Savage Land and get some.
Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, why not? How come there aren't more dinosaurs in books? I guess. So this book was fine. It's fine, utterly fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Well, I took a gander at Wonder Woman number 13 from Tom King and Tony S. Daniel. This continues to be not related to the Tom King series. Like it's an absolute power tie-in. It's absolutely fine. Doesn't have the same tone or feel, but you get to see some interaction, some interplay between Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor and Damian too. And it's like, okay, that's an idea. This is, you know, a skip. The art's good, but who cares? Like it's just very. I'm very aware that I'm reading a tie-in right now.
Sure.
And we're like we're not quite at a golden age of tie-ins, but like the tie-ins are, you know, because everybody is kind of like at this point they're like, oh my god, I'm writing a comic book. I'm lucky to freaking be doing this. How about this tie-in matters, or at least it's really cool or important. And, you know, sometimes people really try, and other people are kind of like, well, you know, it's a tie-in. It's gonna just try to inflate sales for something else. Or whatever. And I can imagine King being like, oh, we were doing tie-ins. Yeah, you know what? I don't normally do that. I'm working in continuity in a while, so why not? Here you go. Here's something weird from me, and it's like
a tie-in for me.
Here's a tie-in for me. Why don't you try that out? And it's like, oh, all right.
All right, yeah. I feel bad because it feels like we're starting off this episode with, this episode of the show with like books that like are fine.
Yeah, they're fine. Sometimes it's always gonna be fine.
I will say, overall, my last week in comics, like reading the books from last week, I had a really great week.
Yeah, no.
Otherwise, anyway,
absolutely. No, there's
like,
some great stuff.
I want to move on.
By the way, I had an idea.
Yeah, okay.
I want to run by you about 2025 for back issues. It's another show on our ComicPop Prime channel. Because I was curious. I had done the All Stars episode with Josh, and I remembered that Josh wrote a Battle World book called Red Skull.
Yeah, okay. I saw you reading that.
It was awesome.
Okay.
But also, who cares?
Okay.
You know what I mean? And no one will ever pay full price for that trade paperback ever again. Like Marvel will never reprint that because it doesn't matter.
Right.
2025 is going to be the 10-year anniversary of Secret Wars.
Oh, are we doing like an all Secret Wars set of stuff? Do you want to go back and forth during Battle World books?
What if 2025 for back issues is just Battle World?
I can't do that. No.
Just Battle World books.
No.
Siege.
No.
Red Skull.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I think that'd be awesome.
I don't know.
It's just a 10-year celebration of Secret Wars, and it all culminates in like the end of the year with Secret Wars. Just the story.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I think it's a fantastic idea.
I don't know about that.
I think it'd be cool because you got all the Planet Hulk story. There's so many battle worlds that
I just think
there's no good reason to do them.
I just don't think that's a great idea to do just nothing but that.
If we could, because we could link it with the word with Secret Wars.
I
you know,
don't.
the movie
I
that's
just don't know if
I think it could build into that. I think that's the way to go.
we'll talk about it.
I think it's an awesome idea, but it's just a thought because there's so many. Like we could do it every week. Could be another crazy. Secret
I just
Wars
think
night. We've only really done 2.
I really think that alienating any other comic publisher's book is
you mean just DC? Because it's not like we're gonna. Oh no, we can't do Image now because we don't.
How dare you?
Yeah, we don't do Image.
I'm not allowed to do Image.
Yeah, no, and it's thanks to you, by the way, because listen, if we'd still be doing Saga if people watched the effing episodes. But anyway, that's the thought.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
I think it's a really cool idea. I can't do it just a month. There's only 4 episodes. That's not enough.
What if they were like mini?
Mini?
Yeah.
That's not how it works. Back issues doesn't lend itself to being a mini episode.
You're gonna have to try harder.
Yeah. We did Renewed Vows and Civil War, which was a good one. And Civil War did okay. Actually, both of them did really well.
Because those are 2,
Yeah, but they didn't matter.
Yeah, but they have come on, you want to hear those things.
But they're all connected.
But not everybody's gonna want to do 18 whatever it is, 72, 52.
Yeah, 1872 could be cool. There's no.
Is it 72?
It's 1872.
Wow.
But we don't have to do all of them.
Yeah.
But just selectively some of them, the good ones. You know how many ones Kieran Gillen did? I mean, come on. But anyway, I think it's cool. But we'll let the
It sounds like you've already decided. It doesn't sound like you're actually pitching.
No, I just wanted to hear your reaction to it.
I don't love it.
Well, that's fair.
How many do you have? I've got a bunch.
Oh, books?
Yeah.
A lot.
Okay, good.
What about you? Go ahead.
Go. No, you go.
Superman 18, Joshua Williamson, Jamal Campbell. Superman hates magic. That's the name of the story, basically. Superman and Zatanna. Superman learns a lot about magic.
Okay.
And its cost and how it affects Zatanna. Because Zatanna doesn't have magic, and she's like, if I'm not magic, I'm just a chick in fishnets. Zatanna's my name, right? Like, it's not like my superhero name. It's just what I have. It's like on my driver's license. And so, because everyone's been robbed of their power, she's like, I have no powers, so I'm just hot. What does that mean for me?
Well, neither does he.
But he's Superman. He's good. He inspires. He's also a great writer. He's Clark Kent. He could if Superman weren't Superman anymore, he'd still be a fantastic husband, father, and writer.
That'd be amazing if he's like, I don't know how to spell.
Right. No, he does. He has super memory, so he's only able to spell. Even if that's the case, it still made the wrinkles in his brain. It's still going to be there. But he just can't learn to spell new words. But so they navigate the back roads of magic using the map. Superman makes a deal with Neron. Basically, Neron's like, I want you to lie for me. And Superman's like, okay, I will. And basically the lie is that he'll lie for him. And I'm like, haha, way to go. At least that's what I thought it was. I mean, maybe Neron will be like, oh, no, you can't trick the devil. But it's like, no, Superman tricked the devil. It's fine. They're not going to let you do Neron all the time.
So don't you think that's interesting, though, that whatever Waller is doing, is able to take away magical powers, but Neron can still do his thing?
He's the devil.
I'm just saying.
Well, he wasn't attacked by an Amazo robot, so maybe he could be, but he's also the devil. So anyway, it was good. Art's fantastic, a lot of fun.
Obviously.
Watch Superman learn to appreciate magic. Because also he was like, I hate magic. He keeps saying it over and over again.
Okay.
And Zatanna's like, that's enough.
It's enough with that. Also, that's Batman's thing, sir.
Yeah, but Superman is weak to magic.
Yeah, but he's
It's actually a thing that Batman and Superman should bond over. Both oh my god, it's that blonde English alcoholic again.
Cheers.
I hate this guy.
There's a lot of reasons to hate John.
Yeah. You know what I need to see?
And most of it has nothing to do with magic.
That I'm thinking about this. Have we ever seen Tommy the Hitman versus John Constantine? Or even Meat?
Why would I want that?
I would love that. Are you kidding me? First of all, English versus Irish. Secondly, Garth Ennis, born characters.
Yeah.
Third, miserable bastards. Fourth, interesting, different power sets.
All right.
I'd like to see that.
I thought you were gonna pitch a Black Label book where it's Batman, Superman, and Constantine stuck someplace together, and they have to work together to get out.
That's a book. Are you kidding me? That's a sell. That's an easy sell. That's like a green light. Like what no, but what else do you have though? Like where does it go? Who do they fight? Where are they? Like don't stop talking about it. Please continue. Who's drawing it? Obviously Aaron Campbell, but like who else is going to be working on this book? What about the variant covers?
What if it's them in the Phantom Zone?
Okay.
Like they get pulled in.
Okay.
That way they're all like on
uneven playing field. Yeah. That'd be cool. Right? All right.
Or you just do it in hell.
Or hell. Hell's fun.
Hell's fun.
Because then you get to deal with Neron. He's like,
but that means like John is like much more like
comfortable.
Well, also he's
or like
oh,
oh, they hate me here.
Oh, and you can't just do that.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. That'd be fun. He'd be like, we have to go. It'd be like if John was in a store that he was banned from. Be like, oh, we need to get out of here as soon as possible.
I'm not welcome here.
Like Superman's like, yeah, I know, hell, right? And he's like, yeah, right. No, I owe a lot of people money here. But anyway, that's it. But yeah. Also, like, what does Neron look like to John? Like, does John go like, why are you wearing that? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, it depends. Like John's dealt with a lot of different devils. So.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, Superman's good. I recommend it. It's continuing, but yeah, it's gonna be great. World's Finest 31, Batman, Superman, Mark Waid, Adrian Gutierrez did the art on this one, and it's still fantastic. I think we're now sans Dan Mora.
Oh wow,
sans Mora, but this is still gorgeous looking, really fun. Basically, the Justice League creates a solar city, like a futuristic solar city. They use their like technology and advancement to like build an actual city. Led by the technology of Bruce Gordon, aka Eclipso. Like when he's not infected with Eclipso, he's also like a solar scientist.
Yeah,
and panels. So yeah, exactly. They get him with just 50% discount.
Wow,
but
we're ruined
from Mass Solar. But it goes awry. Eclipso takes over. It's an Eclipso event. So half the Justice League becomes Eclipsos.
Wait, how could this be an Eclipso event? This cover doesn't have a big dumb diamond on it made out of plastic.
First of all, those are awesome, and make it a collector's item.
Oh, okay.
Makes it much more
just
valuable.
Just like the poly bags for
Superman when he died or came back to life. Yeah. No, putting a book in a poly bag instantly makes its collectability go through the roof. And you can put your kids through college. But so anyway, the idea is the JSA has to step in and save the Justice League from Eclipso. And I'm like, all right, cool. It's fun. Yep. This is let Mark Waid do whatever he wants.
Rock.
Knock yourself out.
Rock. I read Ultimate X-Men #7 this week.
Yay.
By Peach Momoko.
Naturally.
Through and through.
Naturally.
We're introduced to a new character. And it's just great.
Cool.
It's just.
Is it Psylocke?
I think.
It looks like Psylocke because she's purple.
But it could not be. It all depends. This is a book though that again she's just peeling things back, and every time like I've said this before about it, but every time we get some more footing or answers, there's another thing and another thing.
Good,
but it's not it doesn't feel formulaic. It just feels natural how we're learning about all of this, and honestly there are people in this book that I'm legitimately unsure of what their alignment is. I'm like, are you good? Are you bad? Are you neutral? Are you just chaotic? What are you? What is this?
Cool.
And I literally cannot wait for more of it. So and it's great looking.
Oh, naturally.
It's so great looking. And honestly, this fell during autumn time, which is they have a moon celebration. And she talks about it in the back of the book, and I loved it.
Awesome.
So,
Oh, lovely. Yay. Dazzler?
You're right, it is Psylocke.
Oh,
yes,
because it's canon?
No, it's canon.
Oh,
canon. I completely forgot about that. Sorry, I read that, and then I read Dazzler, and for some reason, Dazzler just took everything.
All your brain?
Yeah, it just took all of my brain, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
But yes, it is Psylocke.
I didn't even know there was a Dazzler book.
But they're not saying, they haven't said Psylocke yet.
No, but we know it's Psylocke.
Yeah, Dazzler came out this week. Dazzler #1. I think it's 3 issues.
Everyone loves those 3-issue minis.
I think. Maybe
they do exist, by the way. They did exist.
I don't know. Maybe it's 4. I don't know. Written by Jason Liu with art by Raphael
Loureiro.
Yeah, I read Dazzler. I was why not?
I didn't even know this came out. I didn't remember us talking about it.
Behold Dazzler.
Oh, that's right, because I was recommending the books. I didn't hear you say it because you didn't. So
yeah, behold, it's Dazzler.
Yay!
Here it is. In the wake of Krakoa, here is a Dazzler book.
I don't mean to interrupt you,
but you are.
What? Dazzler has her 70s outfit. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
But when I say everybody, I mean everybody who already knows who Dazzler is.
Yes.
Shouldn't Dazzler look like her look reflect the decades that she is in, since she is basically a pop character?
You should see her. She looks good.
But like, you know,
no, this
does she
all
look
works.
like she's from 2024? Like, does she look like a TikToker?
Yeah, no, she does.
All right, cool, good. Hooray.
Go forward, just see. Keep going.
All right, I'm going.
Check it out.
That's her.
No, but look at the there's no bell bottom or anything like that. It goes directly into a wedged heel. Like I think it works.
All right. But it is
Like,
very
she's
evocative of her old
yeah,
look.
she is retro, but I think it works.
Yeah. Do you really? I mean, the collar really is like the
Well,
question.
I really didn't think too much about it, because honestly, I was actually like, it was more about the story that's being told here.
Naturally.
But yeah, no, I was surprised by how much I honestly enjoyed this.
Oh.
I really enjoyed this.
That's
book
great.
quite a bit. It very much harkens back to what like
What she was
X-Men.
doing.
No, but what X-Men originally was meant to do, which was to talk about people who were others.
Okay,
You know what I
that's
mean?
cool.
And like there is a good deal of this in here. And like I think Lou does a really good job of not making it about like one specific issue, but allowing it to be like for a lot of folk. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here where it's like Dazzler walks this fine line of being like,
yeah, is she representative? Is she a mutant? Like, you know what I mean?
well,
like,
she's a mutant in a world right now that doesn't like mutants, but people love Dazzler.
right.
And you know, she's working with
Domino. Right?
Domino and I want to say Wind Rider. I think go back to the credits page.
Okay.
I think that's what her name is. Wind Dancer. Damn it.
Wind Dancer.
So close. You know, and she has Domino is her chief of security. Strong Guy helps to like set up all of her sets. Multiple Man also does that and is her backup dancers.
Cool.
Her band is comprised of many mutants as well. But Wind Dancer is her PR agent. And like it's interesting because it's like she has some like interesting PR points, but it's at a cost, right? So it's like she's like, you are like, you have to be careful. Like you can't use your powers in specific ways, or people are going to target you for saying you're attacking them, right? Like so, like it has to very much just be like part of the show, and that's it. Like you can't do this, don't do that, don't do this, right? Shark Girl is her drummer, and like she gives her a collar to make her look like a person.
Oh,
because like she did like we
a
don't
power inhibitor collar.
Right. Well, no, it's like it's a hollow thing, right?
Okay.
It makes her
like
look
Nightcrawler.
Yeah, like Nightcrawler. Literally, she references Nightcrawler.
Sure.
But like Wind Dancer is doing this for what she's not doing it because like she doesn't like mutants. She is one. It's more that she thinks that this is the best way to help empower and like try to mend fences, essentially.
Yeah.
But it's like at a really like terrible message where it's just like, well, you can't be yourself right
hide
now.
who you are.
Right, which is like not a message that you want to give to the masses, but it's an interesting question for those who are like idolized. Like, do you feel like do you have to walk a line in order to help ensure the future for like young folks?
Yeah.
Like for people who are mutants, for people who are humans, in order to try to make them to bring them together. Like, do you need to be more cautious? About the messages you're putting out there? Like this is honestly, there's a lot going on in this book, and I was shocked because I'm like, I'm reading a Dazzler book. Like I'm just reading a book about Dazzler. Who cares? So like for folks who maybe aren't looking for a lot of like reflection on like the world or just like that type of like, you know, questioning or messaging, maybe this isn't a book for you.
Probably not
necessarily. But like there was a lot to it, and it was fun, and you know. We see like Dazzler get in a fight and like, you know, like
she fights Scorpia, which I was like, hey, somebody remembered her. Cool.
Yeah. And she's like, okay, well, I'm going to make it look like it's part of the show. And like, it's very like kind of Taylor Swifty in a way. Right. You know, like as the fight has wrapped up, there's already an article from like an
anti,
like immediately out there.
Of course.
About it. And the PR agent's like, oh, okay. Like, where are we going from here?
Right.
But like, it's just interesting.
That's cool.
But you know, like that, there you go. I read Dazzler.
Yeah. Nice.
Behold.
Well, good for Dazzler. I mean, you know, I like Dazzler. I don't really know why though. You know, I've never actually like been a huge Dazzler fan, but it's not for lack of, you know, Dazzler's cachet. I'm just kind of like, all right, cool.
I getcha.
Yeah. Well, in another universe, I read Jenny Sparks #2 from Tom King and Jeff Spokes.
In another universe?
Yeah. Well,
like,
because
not Sal.
Well, no, I mean like it's in the DC universe and it's about like a female empowerment character, but people were very unhappy with this book because it references 9/11 and people seem to think that Tom King can't make fiction without referencing it. And I cite Gotham City Year One, Superman or Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Human Target, any number of books that he's made in the last Rorschach, books that he's written that don't reference 9/11, but it's easier and more fun to make TikToks about it if you say that. But yeah, this is a book that I'm like, I'm not sure it justifies its existence. I'm not sure that I'm into it. That's all I have to say about that. The art's fantastic. I really like the Spokes' work. He's doing a really good job of like, it's grounded, but it's fantastical, but it's also, about like the real world. And it would feel kind of like weird if it was too against the grain. We've talked about this because Tom's been on the show before, and Tom mentioned that like 9/11 is what makes Jenny Sparks wake up, because of course the idea is that. And this is just like because nobody could relate to things that happened 20 years before they were born, but like the conjecture at the time pre 9/11 was that we are at the end of history because we're at like despite the fact that there is like Ugandan genocide and like inequality and like pay discrepancies between women and men, for whatever reason, like armchair psychobabble, like New York Times writing people were like, it's the end of history, history's over, we've reached the end, like what are we gonna do now with the rest of our lives and with civilization? And then 9/11 happened and we're like, oh, never mind,
I'll take it back.
oh no. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's that's what this is.
Okay.
So, Jenny Sparks, of course, the spirit of the 20th century, 99 came and went. She died. The new character came in. She wasn't as popular. People like Jenny more. So she's back. Jenny is an interesting, fun character that I like in The Authority.
Yeah, okay.
I think I'd rather see a Tom King Authority book.
Okay.
That is about 9/11. Like if you're going to do a 9/11 thing, then I'd rather see it be about The Authority.
I feel like the amount of times you've said this like YouTube's going to be not happy.
I know
with this video,
right? Well, clearly, but I'd rather see an Authority book about that.
Yeah,
because also like The Authority came pre and also changed as a result of it.
Yeah,
so it'd be cool to like see a reference to that.
Right.
But yeah, there's also an implication that like Superman and Jenny slept together at some point in the past. She was like a rebound girl after Clark hooked up with the mermaid.
I was going to ask about the mermaid. I was like, this has to be post mermaid because he's in a weird place. He's like, I banged a mermaid. Who's next?
Yes.
How about the spirit of the 20th century?
That's exactly what it is. And
it's like, I've conquered the seas.
Yes. And now how about time itself? And so, and she didn't call him back. So he's like mad at it. He has a chip on his shoulder about it. And I'm like, you know what? If Clark had a fling with anyone from Wildstorm, I'll take Jenny Sparks. That's fine. But it's just kind of like,
I take Zealot.
Clark would be like, she's really just a nice girl,
She's like, shut up. I told you not to tell anybody that.
I don't know. Zealot. Yeah. No, it's too Wonder Woman.
No, I know. It's not what
I honestly thought you were thinking of Voodoo, but yeah. It'd be actually really cool if it was Void. Just like, what?
He's like, you look like the future. You look like
insane.
Krypton.
Yeah.
I am.
I'm so into you. But yeah, it's fine. It's well written. The story is about Captain Atom kind of like losing his mind and like being Dr. Manhattan, and I'm like, like, yeah, this book unfortunately is emblematic of all the criticisms you ever hear about Tom King.
Okay,
like it's inexorably connected to 9/11.
He's fueling it. Maybe he's doing it on purpose.
It flanderizes characters that like a 100th of the audience loves.
Yeah,
like no one has been like, oh, Captain Atom needs a resurgence, and then suddenly he's like, oh, I'm gonna do something with Captain Atom because nobody cares, and people are like, oh, look, how dare you sully Captain Atom? And like it really was summed up in a Reddit post I saw recently where they were looking at a preview of this book and they were like, how come Captain Atom's not blowing up? Because that's what he does. But so it's like, and also Jenny Sparks is like, I don't care about anything or anybody, and I'm apathetic, smoke and like flick my cigarette at you. It's like, it's all the things you expect from like a Tom King book, quotes. But it's competent. It's more like, who asked for this?
Right.
And I don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm issue 2, and I'm like, I read it, and I'm like, okay, Captain Atom has some hostages. They're all very interesting people because like people are interesting, but only because people are interesting and Tom King is competent. But like, there's nothing that hooked me.
Okay.
And it's not like Rorschach where I was like, what is this? And then I read it all and gave me nightmares because it was so good. But like, this is more just like, oh, this is what, like, look, they ain't all gonna be winners. You know, is it bad? No.
Okay.
Is it necessary?
Yeah.
Also no.
Okay.
I'll probably read more, but if I don't see issue 3 in like the previews, I'll never read it again. That's the kind of book it is.
Okay.
And it just makes me go like, dude, I'd like to see Tom King like talk about Midnighter and Apollo, and you know,
yeah, okay.
Like, I want to see Jenny interact with the team.
Yeah, okay.
You know,
yeah,
that's more. I think King could nail the Authority in today's world. Like, it's like, oh man, you look at the list of people that they got to write the Authority, and it's like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes damn good sense.
Yep.
For everybody who wrote that book at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But in today's world, it's like Tom King is on the top of the list of people who needs to rebrand the Authority.
Or Spurrier.
Spurrier's would be a much. The thing is, I'd love to see both, and the Authority makes sense for it to be written by an Englishman.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to see Tom's take.
That's fair.
But yeah, Spurrier would crush it. It's just, but it would be much more mad.
I know.
They'd be angrier.
Yeah.
And sad. But yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
I want to give a quick shout out to, I read the Tin Can Society.
What is this?
This is a book written. This is the way they put the credits is interesting. Story by Peter Warren and Rick Remender, but Warren is the one who gets the
writing credit.
The writing credit on the front.
Interesting.
And then art by Francesco Mobili.
Oh, okay.
Art in this book is easily the number top. I'm sorry, I hate to say it. Like, I know it's supposed to be a perfect marriage, but like the art in this book is
like just overwhelmed. Yeah, that's right. You told me. That's right. We saw this in the store.
Yeah, this is so like I love the art of this book. It's so incredible.
Yeah, no, this book, it's the best looking book of the week.
Mm-hmm. Aaron Campbell, yeah, but like it's an unbelievably good looking book. Yeah, this book was a lot of fun. Honestly, this is a limited series. It's 9 issues according to the top corner. And it's like a murder mystery kind of thing. This first issue portrays a story that there has to be a term for it. Okay, what is the term for stories that make you think of Stephen King's It only because we're talking about the adults, but we keep flashing back to them as children?
Yeah. I don't know. Right? That's King will do that. So it's not just It, but it is like it's like a Stephen King effect.
Yeah. If someone's asking me if this is a trade, no, this is a single issue. It's a single issue. It's just a
different cover.
It's an Image one, so it's like a hefty one. Like Image's first one tends to tends to be like
put extra pages.
Yeah, a little bigger. But yeah, there's a opens with like a big, trust me, it is a graphic opening page. Okay. I will warn you about that.
Yeah.
It is rated 15, but that opening page
harder.
Is a little like, whoa. But the idea is like there was a boy, he was born with spina bifida, so he had a really hard life and his parents abandoned him and he's adopted and ends up like with these Christian scientists and ends up becoming like inevitably like a Tony Stark, like a brilliant scientific mind, right?
Cool.
But like in school, like he has all these issues where like he has to have special food packed for him because like he could like choke because of like the way his muscles work. But like all he wants to be is a normal kid. And like he ends up just going up to get chicken nuggets.
Oh no.
He eats them, he starts choking, and these 4 kids just spring into action, they save him. And they're like,
this is a Stephen King story.
And they introduce everyone like
part of the losers.
Yeah, and like
the Tin Can Society.
Well, yeah, but he introduces the tin can.
Okay.
Because he has a tin can he buries with all the stuff he's not allowed to have. And they're like, don't you want to eat this? And he's like, no, I can't. I just want to have it. I just like having it. Okay. And so they form the Tin Can Society, but he's dead now. And so it's like, like one of the girls is like, I'm going to figure out who did it. I think it might be one of our friends. And like, but like he's become like Iron Man. Like he has like a suit that he wears and like he was a hero and like, so like someone's stolen it. I gotta tell you, like this really drew me in, and it was all honestly because of the art. Like the art, I don't want to like give anything away. I just want to find a nice page. It's all good.
Yeah,
it's all good. I mean, like, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's a gorgeous book.
It's just a really, really beautiful book.
Yeah.
Like, I love this book so much. I love the way it looks. I was thrilled to read it. It's a really fast read too. Like, there's a lot happening in it, but it's just really well paced. So cool. I gotta tell you, go check this out. This was literally, I picked this up. This is Sunday we got to talk about this. The whole idea of like, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
That's the alternate cover.
Yeah, that's the cover that the League of Comic Geeks
shame.
provided. This is a better cover.
This cover is so good.
Yeah.
But don't judge a book by its cover, right? Like it really is meant to like be like, don't like look at something that doesn't look interesting. But the fact is, when it comes to comics, when you're in a comic book store, unless you know the title or you've heard about it, this is what's going to sell you on the book. This is what's going to make you pick it up, flip through it, and make a decision on the spot, right? That's what's going to make you do this, is this cover. And I got to tell you, this cover was just like kitschy enough and sweet enough, and maybe questioned because there's not a lot to it. The art was so good on it. I was like, I had to pick this up. I had to know what was inside of it. And literally I opened the first page and I was like, oh, I'm getting this book.
Yeah.
Right. Like I have to have this book. So don't judge a book by its cover. Well, you're going to have like that's going to happen from time to time. But
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid to pick up a book based on its cover and take a look at it. You know, I think it's well worth it.
That's cool.
I have one other indie book I just wanted to cover really quickly. Power Fantasy #2 came out this week. I had like an interesting version of this. Like we were in the store.
Yeah.
And for some reason, like they had the cover you're about to see, Behold, and the one I picked up, but they're both exactly the same barcode.
Yeah, they also have that little indicator. By the way, if you want to explain the indicator.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you can really see it on here, but
let's use another book.
No, I meant like because it's like it's hard to get.
Yeah, I know, but like using the example.
Oh.
Of the look at the barcode.
Yeah, they're both. Oh my gosh, this one's not bad, I guess. But if you look at the barcode, you're going to be looking at like the number, the secondary, like shorter number on the barcode that's like kind of like there. You really cannot see it, but there's a number there. And this one reads 00111. That means it's the first printing of the first issue of
the first cover,
the main cover.
Yeah.
All right. And so that's what mine reads on the back, except it's 2111 because this is issue 2 of the first printing of the main cover.
But this is the one you're seeing on the screen here is what is considered to be the main cover for issue 2 of Power Fantasy. And at the comic shop, this was available.
Yeah.
Also next to it was this version of the cover.
So I got this. I thought it was really fun looking. So I grabbed this one. Anyway, I love it on the back of this image book. They put like full credits. Like, that's insane.
What a neat idea.
Neat idea. So this is written by Kieran Gillen with art by Casper Wingard.
Oh yes, I've seen that name in print. I've never heard it in life.
I don't know how to say it. Anyway, the fact is I loved the first issue of this and I loved the second issue of this. And when I spoke about it last, I said like it felt like Gillen wasn't done with what he had to say about X-Men. And we're going to get into that later on, but I do want to talk about like the contents of this book is really phenomenal. And while I'm not saying it is like Watchmen, I am saying if you are a fan of Watchmen, you may be a fan of this book and may want to try it, right? Like there is something about it that's taking the superhero genre and like examining it and looking at it from another perspective. In fact, when this is collected in a trade, I'd like to buy it for Ethan. I think he'd really, really enjoy this book. Like quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's examining the idea of like how superhero characters are ever stronger in mainstream comics and like what that would really mean for the world. But it's also like utilizing the idea of like the Cold War in a way, in a modern setting. What is the actual standout for this book? I also want to give it like the art for it is incredible. It's gorgeous art, very different than the last book that I just talked about. But the art is beautiful and it's fun. It's vibrant. It's moody when it needs to be. It reflects like characters as it should. It's really well done. Gillen and Wingard are just like working together flawlessly. I believe they've worked together before.
Yeah.
The star of this book is not the book itself necessarily. It's this essay in the back by Kieran Gillen. It's like
2 pages,
2.5 pages here. If you have this book, read it. If you didn't read this essay, read it. It's an incredible glimpse into a brilliant mind who's going to talk to you, by the way, a bit about when like writing X-Men and, you know, why he hasn't been writing independent books. But like he explains to you kind of where this is coming from. And it did make me feel better because he did mention that he did have more to say when it came to X-Men. And so he didn't want to just do that, but something else came up. And it was this idea that like, you know, characters, because fans have wanted to see like bigger, more bombastic things, have been getting more and more powerful to the point where it's just like they really couldn't exist in the world. Like, how would that work?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this is talking about. But like, please, like, you know, because like because of the fact that like magazines don't really exist anymore, because honestly, were they like this
The closest thing is this.
comics
You'd have
aside,
to get him on the
but like,
show to
you
talk
know,
about it.
it's a lot to produce. It's a lot of resources. You know,
And there's no guarantees
it's not
that
a
they'll
great, well,
sell.
it's also not great for the environment necessarily. But like, because of that, and because of the fact that like most news sites need to churn out so many articles in order to make revenue enough to
Justify its
justify
existence.
their existence, we miss out on articles like this,
That
or
should have been
essays like this. I can't tell you how much I recommend enough, even if like you're not interested in this book, to grab this issue and to read this essay. I really, really, truly enjoyed it, so much so that when I was done with it, I was like, hey, you want to come here? I know you're not reading this book. Do you want to
read this essay?
Yeah.
And I did, and it's great and insightful, and it gives a lot of great insight into like, you know, the process and about like comics in general. You know, the idea that like, you know, essentially you have like atom bomb characters, and they wouldn't fight. You know, all the audience wants to see the like, biggest, most powerful characters either lead the team or battle each other. And if they did, you know, it would have creepy, you know, unpleasant overtones and / destroy the world. And so as a result, they can't fight. And so what do you do with those characters then? And you know, and that's why like some of Gillen's contributions to the X-Men stuff were some of the best during the Krakoa era post Hickman, because he was thinking about those things.
Yeah, he also mentioned like a bit about like writing the crossovers that he did.
Yeah.
And that like one of them he almost wrote entirely himself, and it was like you could feel that at the end. So it's like, even if you're just a fan of Krakoa and you just want a little bit more like information, there's some of that in there. But like, I loved this essay so much, and he was just like, I don't want to make this too long. So like, and I was like, I could have read another like several pages of this thought process. He promises that in the future, in like other issues, he's going to be putting more of this in there. I'm thrilled that it was in issue 2.
Right.
I do wish it was in issue 1. I feel like it probably would have gotten more people talking about this book.
Yeah.
I really like this book. He mentions in here that like he doesn't want to sell this to people who like you know, like big fights and like he doesn't want people to think that like he's giving them a hard time, or that like, oh, like you everybody has to read this book. And like, no, like he's saying like he doesn't want to turn anyone off from it, but he doesn't want you to think that what you're getting in this is
like what he wasn't allowed to do with Krakoa,
or like a big bump, like, you know, like this is more like, yes, there are big superhero characters in this book, but a lot of this is going to be about talking and you know, examining how that works in general. So I got to tell you, like, this is a great book. In like, pick up the first issue. There's only like 2 issues, but if you can't get that, get issue 2, read the essay. So worth it.
Totally awesome. Yay. You also read Hellblazer.
I did read Hellblazer this week.
Do you want to break, or are you good?
No, here, let me grab a quick drink.
I was gonna say, because I think I'm out of books, but yeah,
I'm better.
There were a lot of books that I could have read this week that I just didn't have a chance to. Like,
let's talk about Hellblazer this week. Hellblazer number 9. I think we were like supposed to be wrapping up at this point.
Yeah, we're getting to the end.
No, like I think this was supposed to be it.
Oh yes, originally it was going to be a 9-issue miniseries, but it turned into a 12, I think, or 13.
Yeah, I think it's 12. So we're getting like 3 more issues out of it, which is great. It is funny that this issue though felt like we maybe hit like 2 scripts, like one that was going to end at 9,
right,
and one that was going to keep going, and this is the one that kept
so
going.
So you just added the last 2 pages.
No. It's just like he moves. Like I think he moved a lot around.
Okay, all right, cool.
Like for sure. Really enjoyed this book quite a bit. I got to tell you, in this issue in particular, Campbell is doing some stuff. It's just some incredible work. Like some of his best. Every issue, I feel like I say, this is some of his best for sure. But like, there's like I love this moment in here, like where there's a panel of a character. Like this is such a like Spurrier style of like storytelling as he's doing it now. Like I feel like he's really playing around with it, where it's like we start at like kind of the end of the story for this one, and then he tells us about it, so we learn the rest of the story. But I love that like there's no black magic in Hollywood, and like that image so good. I mean, we could show it. We can show that panel in particular. That panel is so great. Like that, there's your cell. I like this This issue in particular is moody and gorgeous. And it's, we've seen Spurrier taking down not a lot of like taking them down, but like addressing a lot of things in America,
Yes.
right? Like whether it be the comic book industry,
discussing,
like, immigration, like all sorts of things cross country. We finally have gotten to the West Coast. So Hollywood has fallen under his scrutiny.
Gotta.
And there's definitely a lot of subtext to this. And I leave it up to you to determine what you think the subtext is to it.
Mhm.
But I gotta tell you, like this book, I have lost my footing as to what I think John is doing. And I kind of love it.
Yeah.
Like I think I understand at the end of this where we might be going with it.
Sure.
But there's part of me that like wants John to be ahead of me.
Uh-huh.
Like always. Like I want to second guess John.
Yeah.
Like most of the time.
Sure.
But yeah, this was a phenomenal issue. Not a great standalone, not a great jumping on point whatsoever.
Okay.
This is not one that you could just be like, ta-da!
Yeah, I'll just jump on, try and
this is not it.
up.
This is not even the one to figure out if you like the tone of this book. There have been other issues of this run of
that
this
you could
series
jump in
that
on
you
and
could just try to see if like, do I like this? This is not one of them at all.
Oh, there's only 11.
It's only 11. Oh, where'd I get 12 from?
Because you normally, when you have a maxi series, it's 12 issues.
Yeah, I guess that's what it was. All right, so we got 2 more. But yeah, again, Campbell just doing phenomenal work.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to seeing him on other stuff, but I love his art for this book because he's really given an opportunity to draw very humanistic things, very like human emotions, but also like super dark, super fantastical stuff. And I feel like his art style is just perfect for it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's always a treat. This is a great issue. And I'm thrilled that we get 2 more, but I always get sad when we get to the end.
You know it's going to be ending soon. So then what is your book of the week?
What's yours?
It's tough because Superman was a lot of fun. And I really enjoyed it, but I think I got to give it to The Moon Is Following Us. It's interesting. It's new. It's fresh. I mentioned it on Twitter, but I'm slowly getting edged out of that app. But I mentioned, it's like, it feels familiar, but it doesn't feel redundant, or it doesn't feel like it's treading new ground. It's easy to jump into this crazy looking world and not feel like you're overwhelmed. Like there's a lot of new stuff that we've seen that, on like Netflix cartoon stuff where I'm like, no, like that just, no, it's too much going on, but this is, and it feels like this, if it were adapted, I'd be like less inclined to try it out, but it's really cool, really interesting. But there were a lot of good books this week.
I'm really struggling with this one. Obviously Ultimate X-Men was great. Dazzler #1 was a really great showing. It was a surprise for me. Hellblazer is 9 times out of 10 my choice. It's just
of course
like flawlessly written series for me, and the fact that it can be so like consistent but remarkable is I think something to be celebrated. But then like Tin Can Society came along this week with some beautiful art and like a really engaging story. But I think it's this week.
Wow.
Because I really have to it literally could have been any of the books I just mentioned.
Yeah.
Easily. But for a comic book to hold like a really strong story with gorgeous art as well, and then have a beautiful essay in the back that is like insightful. And just like really made me want to like, I don't know, it's just like it. Not that like I felt like my passion for reading comics was dwindling, but like it just gave a little more fire. And like I there's something about that. So I think it has to be Power Fantasy #2 for me.
But it will take more than belly fire to be the next Kieran Gillen. It's an old Simpsons reference.
Okay.
Oh, you have fire in the belly, but it'll take more than belly fire to become the next Baryshnikov. But yeah, nice. Yay. Good. Well, and you know what? There's 2 more issues of Hellblazer to take over.
I mean, it usually is Hellblazer. Hellblazer is just like such a great series, but like I said, like I loved the Tin Can Society. That was a book I just bought.
You picked it up on a lark.
Picked it up on a lark because of the cover and like that first page, and I truly enjoyed the read.
Yeah,
but the essay and the overall story of Power Fantasy.
Well, before we get to our like kind of wrap up, we also want to talk a little bit about Agatha All Along. We watched the first episode, not the second episode, so we're only going to be talking specifically about Agatha All Along in the first episode,
which makes it easier to like avoid too many spoilers for people because it's like it's the first episode, so it's fine.
But developed by Jack Schaefer, starring Catherine Hahn, and of course Aubrey Plaza. This continues the saga of Agatha, a show that I was like, I don't know if I'll ever watch this show. But I ended up trying to watch it for something else. Didn't happen for some reason, but why not? We'll talk about it here. It's a new Marvel production. They had the new logo where it's Marvel Television instead of Marvel Studios.
Right.
Further segmenting their studios, which is what everybody wants, and what nobody was complaining about when Netflix did their Marvel Universe. So this, what did you think?
So, okay. I already know what you thought about this.
No, the first part
of this, like, I really enjoyed, because it turns out I just want, like, in the fall, Tiffany wants supernatural / paranormal shows with a like gray, rainy, cloudy, chilly feel to them, that have maybe like a mystery
element,
small town vibe, right?
Sure.
And so the like first half of this show was that, and I was like, neat,
right?
You know, and it's also like a little bit of a send up of those type of shows. Really fun.
But it also just kind of like teased you and went, oh, I guess I kind of just want to watch this show.
I just kind of want to watch that show.
Yeah.
But the rest of this like episode for me was kind of like, it just felt like it was trying to prove something to us, and then what it was trying to prove to us was that like everyone in this show is the coolest person ever, and I have no necessarily like real issue with that, except that I'm like, I don't need you to like to come at me like that. Necessarily, like, like I understand if you're a Marvel villain, you either are going to die or exist long enough to become a anti-hero. I totally get that. That's where we're at, and obviously the show is about Agatha, so we're meant to like
sympathize or at least want to watch her.
Yeah, exactly. But then like, was it Aubrey Plaza?
Yep.
Like enters the room, and I'm like, okay, I get it. Yeah, she's a badass. Everybody's a badass. Everyone's a badass.
Even the kid that they arrest when he's in the interrogation room was like, I almost pitched you an idea of doing like a TikTok scene where it's just like the first episode of Agatha is just like, hi, I'm the coolest MFer in the room. Like, get out of the way because I'm the coolest MFer in the room. Like, don't forget about me because I don't take no duff from anybody.
Right.
And it's like, okay, but like someone has to lose.
Right. But like, so for me, what I feel like is that this first episode felt like maybe it thought it needed to prove something. And so I'm definitely willing to give it another couple of episodes to see if it kind of like evens out and like everybody kind of gets their own personality and character, and we can move on from there. I'm interested to see if they're going to pull anything else in. I mean, the library card thing, I'm not going to mention what it was, but like we saw the library card and I was like, literally like 15 seconds later, I was like, wait, go back. I was like, okay, got it.
It's a long ass title. Does that mean something? Oh, it does. Okay.
Immediately means something. Got it. Cool. Moving on. So like I'm 100% down to try more of this.
Yeah.
But like, for what the show is actually going to be, I feel like the first episode didn't give us enough to understand what we're actually getting out of it. It was like not the best sell.
And the show also, I think it like really expected you to have been anticipating it for 3 years.
Sure. Right.
You're like, man, you remember how excited you were when you were locked in your house and couldn't go anywhere? We're excited that we gave you something new.
Yeah.
Do you still feel that way? Actually, no. Life has kind of just been beating the shit out of me for the last like 3 years, actually. Like being forced to remember that is kind of not fun. Like, well, get ready for more. Oh.
Yeah.
You know what? That's actually a good point. Sorry. I mean, it's still fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's fun.
And again, like I'm really not throwing any shade at this show because like I don't feel like the first episode was enough. I don't think it was the best first episode. Is really what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it was a solid, good first episode. It probably makes more sense for them to have released one. I don't know if they released one.
I don't remember if they did two. Yeah.
But like if they did, I get it.
Yeah.
Because one isn't enough to I feel like to get a feel for this show.
No, totally. Yeah. It was fine. It didn't pull me in enough to make me want to watch more, but also I'm not like outraged and upset and pants crappingly angry about anything that happened on screen.
Yeah.
Although, you know, like your pitch about like just being like, oh, just do like Twin Peaks meets Eureka and I'll watch it. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah.
I watched that too.
Yeah.
Not even in Marvel.
They did release the two.
Okay, that's smart. Yeah. Well, when I pulled it up and I saw they were both 43 minutes long, I went, oh, Jesus Christ.
We didn't have enough time.
I just looked at it and went, no.
Well, this is a lot to ask for Sal, just in general, because it is magic.
It's magic. It's witches.
Not that I'm saying you're like Batman about magic, but
No.
like you're less inclined to jump in on
I'm
something
not
like that.
like an
that
automatic sell.
Yeah, like that for me. I'm like very forgiving of this right now because I'm like, we'll
magic,
see
you know?
where
And
we
but,
go
like,
with this.
and it seemed like Disney was very like pants or back pattingly like that end credit sequence where I'm like, boy, you guys are really impressed with yourselves that you did a magic witch show. Like they're like, we're magic and stuff. Look, like, listen, Eisner would never have let us do this, like, you know, because of how the occult and stuff. And it's like, you made Hocus Pocus. Shut up. All that reminded me of was like, oh, Hocus Pocus 2 was kind of disappointing. Oh well. Poor. Remember that awesome woman from Ted Lasso and how she was in Hocus Pocus 2? And you were like, man, she's gonna be in this. That's gonna be great. She's gonna have a song. She's gonna be. Oh, she's only in 2 seconds. Cool. All right.
I had a whole backstory for her.
You did, yeah. You were like ready to go.
I was like, well, clearly this is what.
This is what happened, and then it was like, how about nothing?
I was like, oh,
okay.
It's
That's fun. But yeah, I was just when it was over, I went like, man, I wonder what Man-Thing's doing, because that was fun.
Yeah.
And Elsa Bloodstone, of course.
Yeah.
You know,
kind of.
Maybe she'll like do a spell and have red hair in the next one. But yeah, so you know, Agatha, it's not necessarily like I don't not recommend it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Good thing my livelihood isn't tied to it.
Appropriately like released.
Yes. Oh no, brilliant strategy when it comes to releasing it. And you know what? If you're gonna make an Agatha Harkness show, like go all in. Like make it witchy, make it like, you know, make it gay, like whatever people are complaining about, you know, but go for it. Do it all. But do it all here, you know, make an Agatha show.
Yeah.
Because make it as authentic an Agatha show as you can. Because you know what? It was never going to be for me, whether it was going to be a half measure or a full measure or whether Spider-Man appeared in it. Like, it was not going to be my kind of show.
Right.
And even then I was like, this is still an entertaining show. I was like, you know, but when they were like in the living room, they're like, I'm like, all right. Everyone's everyone's cool. Okay.
I'm very well aware.
It was like in the Infinity War when like Star-Lord and Tony Stark, I was like, I'm the quippiest, coolest guy. I'm no, get out of the way. The formula of making everyone the funniest MFer in the room suddenly is being tested. Doctor Strange and Tony Stark and Star-Lord are all the same character going, oops. Still fun. I still love those movies, I'm just saying. But anyway. All right. So let's do some super chats and then we'll leave.
Oh, okay.
Arduit says, ComicPop Woo. Thank you very much, Arduit, for your support. I was thinking about the other day about the reveal of the Magic the Gathering Secret Lair by Peach Momoko, but I'm hyped for the Marvel set coming out to have artists from books. I just want Pepe LaRa's Magic the Gathering. Yes.
The magic folk are so smart.
They are so smart.
They are so smart.
Yeah, they have their finger on the pulse of the community.
Yeah.
John Kata says, hey guys, it's been a while since I've joined you live, so a couple things. Well, thank you very much in supporting for us. First, thanks to the entire team for all the amazing content, and congrats to Sal on the Terminator job. Looking forward to it. Thanks, John. I appreciate it, man. And if you guys are not familiar, Terminator number 1 is, and actually 1 through 5 is going to feature 2 pages of backup to collect 10 pages of story written by yours truly with art by Colin Craker. The pre-order has closed, but you can always go to your comic book store on October 9th and pick it up. And in fact, if you go to the particular comic book store, Zap Comics in Wayne, New Jersey, between 5 and 7 p.m., you'll also get to meet me and get a signature as well. So check that out. But thank you, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. And thanks for being here. Glad to have you back. Bear Farmer, Neron telling Superman you'll never die played to me like he was annoyed at it. May as well have said, but you'll never die though, will you? Dick. I don't know. The event's starting to lose me. Yeah, I love the idea of Neron being like, well, you're never going to die, so I don't even have to bother with you. It's fun. John Cotter returns to say, also, while I'm here, have you checked out any of Jim Zub's phenomenal Conan series? If not, maybe On the Couch for the Future. I have read some of Jim Zub's Conan book. He's very successful with that series, and I know that people who are reading it are loving it, and the book is selling well. At least that's what I hear. I hope that's true. I hope people are enjoying it. If you like Conan, definitely read this because it's going to be the most pure Conan you're going to get. Conan would not do well on this channel, so we're probably not going to talk about it. It's just one of those things. I'm sorry, man. Bear Farmer Returns. I love magic moment. Superman. Yes, it was a great moment. Superman like basically uses magic to reunite with Lois, and he's like, I love magic. Just sees the good in people, sees the value in Zatanna, and there we go. Josh Rowland, what's up, Compop? I found the Max number 9 over the weekend. Now I have 2 and 9. Nice. I'm surprised you don't have 1 through 9 since they're all cheap. Like you could probably find them for nothing.
Yeah, but like if you're doing the hunt.
But if you're doing the hunt, not bad.
I like that.
And stop early because it gets weird and bad. Lee Allen, hey Sal, have you ever considered checking out Superman Space Age? It's a companion series to Batman Dark Age by the same creative team. Love you. I did not know that they were part of the same universe. If that's the case, I'm going to read it. I was kind of like, I think I read the first issue and went, whatever. I really like Batman Dark Age. And I actually saw Superman Space Age on the shelf or on the table at a Comic-Con or at a comic book store, a comic fortress in Somerville. And man, I was like, maybe we'll do that on Back Issue someday because it's like a self-contained, crazy-ass Superman story. But the fact that it's connected with Dark Age, okay, I'm reading that. Hulkzilla, happy Monday. Glad you guys are doing well. Also, the first Green Lantern movie of a new movie universe starting with Parallax. What can go wrong? We didn't say it's going to start with Parallax, but it would be interesting if it did. But yes, I don't know if I'd start with Parallax. Chocobo Kid, yay, Tiffany is back. Now Sal has his best co-host with him. I agree, Chocobo Kid. Thank you for your support. Thank you for generosity. I appreciate it. Neon Knight Rider on an outer space adventure. Oh no, he's singing the Fantastic Four theme. They got kicked by cosmic rays and the Four were trains forever in the most fantastic ways. No need to fear. They're here. Just call the Four.
Fantastic Four.
Don't need no more. That's ungrammatical. They're never going to put that in the movie.
That it's ungrammatical?
The song. That song's never going to be in the movie. And unless... Because it is in another universe with Fantastic Four exists.
Maybe some panhandler on, like, in the subway with a violin.
Yes, like Spider-Man.
That's the reference I'm
exactly. Fantastic Four. Or they could just show the cartoon. Like in their universe, they made a cartoon and it sucks.
Yeah.
That'd be really fun. I like that. Bryce Harriet, hello. Sorry I can't stay. Take a shekel. I'll take 2. How about that? Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
What if?
Yeah.
Since they're from like some crazy 60s universe, they're like, no, we have a theme song.
We do. And it's this. They're fantastic. That'd be amazing.
And everyone's like,
this sucks. I'd rather it had like a bombastic instrumental theme, but set in the same universe. Ba, 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 ba. It's a great theme. Man, I love the Fantastic Four cartoon. It's horrible. And then it's not. So cool. Anyway.
Okay.
T480 plus Superman is 31 and it's fun to see the universe starting out instead of being too lived in like we missed the beginnings. I agree. Yeah, I'm down. I like it starting out. I like the idea Superman's been a Superman for a while.
A Superman.
Yep. Novus, thank you for your generosity. Hey Sal, would you ever cover more Daredevil on Back Issues? Love to hear your opinion on Bendis, Brubaker, and Souls Run. Also, minis like Daredevil Redemption are great. Love you guys. Thanks, Novus. Yes, I loved Daredevil. I'm happy to talk about Daredevil. I don't know if I'd ever do it to Charles Soule Run. The book's unreadable, but I do think that we talk more about Daredevil. There's definitely some more. I'd like to do Elektra Assassin at some point as well. That's a Frank Miller Sienkiewicz book, and man, gorgeous looking book. Extifer 7, ComicPop Woo with the fact that GLs are older than Superman now. What do you think it means for other characters? Will Bruce be Clark's age or Hal's age? Maybe we'll get Kyle Rayner as the contemporary GL for a future Justice League. That'd be cool. I'm down for the idea of like going full 90s with it. I like the idea also that like maybe the GLs don't deal with Superman because they're like just constantly busy in space. So Superman actually can justify being more tethered to terra firma.
Sure.
But yeah, that's my thinking. T480, thanks for your generosity. Pattinson would most likely be on board for DCU, and Gunn asked Matt Reeves when he got in charge to integrate him. He needs to be the DCU Batman. If he is, I'd be so enthusiastic about DC. Me too, man. I'm down for either. I don't want like an older Batman. We've had enough of that. But I would love to see Pattinson's Batman. Pattinson. That moment at the end of the Batman where he like realizes I can't be like this like monster. Like I have to be Hope. I'm like, that's a Superman lesson. And it's like really cool. It's like a great evolution for Batman. I'm in. Cat Loyal Fan for Treats. Finally catching you guys live after a while. Speaking of lanterns, I know it's not coolest, but Alan Scott movie set in the past would be a great way to introduce the concept. The new mini was perfect. I fell off that book, but it was still good. I also love that idea. I think there's going to be a JSA. I think they're going to establish there has been a JSA. That's a smart move for them. King of New York, love watching you guys on Mondays. Tiffany, glad you're feeling better.
Thank
Are you
you.
going to watch the new Uzumaki Junji Ito anime starting next week?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. We'll see how it goes. I tried the shorts, the scary
Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the animation was fine. I know they worked really, I mean, like they were doing something with it. It just wasn't, it didn't do it for me,
Yes.
basically. So I know they worked really hard on this to make it look a certain way.
Yes.
I'm really hoping it pays off.
I agree with you. I don't know. I'm not really invested.
Yeah,
Kidlink 730 can't catch the live. Just wanted to say thank you for everything you do, as you've made me getting into comics welcoming, and it's been fun reading comics old and new this year. Long live ComicPop. Thanks, Kidlink. Thank you for your generosity, man. Thanks for being here. I'm really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Rob F., I heard you say on one of the interviews that you've done recently that Joshua Williamson gave you his pitch template for you to use as for Terminator. Any chance he would make that available to talk about it? No. He did not give me a pitch for Terminator. He gave me a pitch for Predator on a pirate
pitch
ship.
template.
Oh, yes. He gave me a template for what I could use for Terminator. I see. Can I make that available or talk about it? Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll make it an All-Stars episode. Josh and I are planning on doing a live episode with another round of special guests.
Well, you should ask him first.
I'm going to, but I'm going to pitch that idea to him and see what he feels.
You're going to use his pitch template to him to pitch this
idea. Yeah, that's a great idea. No, but yeah, there will be a live All-Stars in October, hopefully leading up to New York Comic-Con. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But before that, new episode of September's All-Stars coming out tomorrow. But yes, I do want to do that because I like the idea of having templates out there so people can use them. Joshua Link, Battle World 2025. I think that's a great idea, Sal. Well, thank you very much, Josh. Night Guardian. Sorry, Sal, but I'm with Tiffany on Secret Wars. Interesting. I like that too. Thank you. Arduit returns to say would support like a once a month Battle World story with an end of the year Secret Wars. Sounds awesome. Are you keeping up with Venom Wars and Ewing's Venom? Absolutely not. Not for lack of interest. Actually, no.
Yeah,
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's bad. I just don't care. But yeah, that's not. What about that? Once a month, the Secret Wars?
Sure.
No,
that's fine. You just said before you said that wasn't enough.
I know. We'll see. Chase Wellings, chance of Emerald Twilight Hal since he's older, probably. I think he's gonna be a corpse. Jamzilla, hey guys, Off the Rack didn't feel the same without you, Tiffany. Glad you're back. Also, Saga and Ultimate Spider-Man share yet another new comic book day.
Right?
Yay, that's true.
Yeah.
Jasper Pasco, across all the episodes of Back Issues, what's been your favorite book? I don't know, man. That's a tough question.
That's really hard.
I mean, I love Kingdom Come, even though I don't like that episode, so I have no idea.
I don't know. I mean, I freaking love Sailor Moon, but I love Supergirl and Batman Damned is one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
Of all time.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's so hard.
It's so hard. Jasper also returns to say, on my hands and knees begging for Tom King's Strange Adventures episode of Back Issues. I agree. I think it'll be a fantastic episode.
I mean, 1602.
1602. That's a good one. Yeah, no, Strange Adventures will happen. And in fact, if you like self-contained Tom King stories, that was a great one. Perfect book.
No, you're talking about just the book.
Yeah, no, the book was amazing. But yeah, that's it. We want to get into our recommendations. Aliens. God damn it. So for me, I'm going to check this out. Mark Andreyko has a Violator origin book that's coming out from Spawn with art by Piotr Kowalski. A Violator book in this day and age? All right, I'll read it. Master of the Universe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles of Grayskull #1 is launching from Tim Seeley and Freddie E. Williams II. Hooray. I'm going to read this.
I hear he hunts ghosts.
Yes, I have also heard that Freddie E. Williams II is a ghost hunter, or at least a Red Letter Media investigator. So I'm looking forward to seeing him on a ghost hunt in the future. Wolverine Revenge #2 from Jonathan Hickman and Greg Capullo. Hooray. And of course, the Red Band edition is also dropping. Green Hour 16, a tie-in to Absolute Power, but also will absolutely matter. Joshua Williamson and Sean Isaacs and Amanse Naholpan doing the art on that one. I'm down. Looking forward to seeing where that goes. And of course, seeing Ali redeem himself. There's more, but I wanted to save a couple because I didn't want to just take over some of the ones that Tiffany's doing.
Oh, well, thanks.
But yeah, there's so many more that are coming out.
X-Force #3 is coming out this week.
We'll both read that.
Yeah, Jeff Thorne, Marcus Toe, fantastic.
Yes.
Saga #69 is coming out
and
this week.
You know this cover
is so bland.
They were like, we knew we were going to do this from issue 1.
Oh my god, it's amazing. Brian Gate Vaughn, Fiona Staples, so good. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Come on, Zatanna bring down the house number 4.
I also wanted to call it Bringing Down
the House. Marika Tamaki, Javier Rodriguez. Man, this is a stunning looking book.
Yep.
Let's see. Phases of the Moon Knight number 2 is.
Did we miss the first Phases of the Moon Knight?
I might have missed the first phase.
It's also Jan McKay, so it's like it's essential reading for Moon Knight.
Yeah, so I may have to go back.
Jorge Fornes. Oh my god.
Let's take a look at the first one. Yeah, no, I don't remember. Well, I can just look at my thing.
That's weird. Yeah.
No, you know what? Because I didn't read this because this was by a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, none of whom were Jed McKay.
Yeah, so
it's just McKay and Fornes. Fornes doing a Moon Knight book.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll read this too.
Okay. Feel free. Helen of Windhorn number 5 is coming out this week. Tom King, Bill Key, Bilkis, Evely. For sure.
For sure.
Gonna be checking that out.
Yeah, for you Conan fans, Conan 15's dropping, so check that out. Thundercats number 8 is dropping as well.
Oh yeah, Werewolf by Night number 2 is coming out. Yeah. Jason Liu on that. Oh, writer of Dazzler.
Interesting.
They're reprinting Batman The Long Halloween, the last Halloween number 1.
This is, I don't even think it's a reprint. I remember
this is a new thing.
I think it's a new thing because I remember
I'm a liar.
Number 0.
I'm a total liar.
It's,
oh my god,
just,
it is. You're
it's
right.
Jeff Loeb with Eduardo Rousseau doing the art on this one,
and doing and the cover artist is doing.
It's Tim Sale's art.
Yeah,
like there's reprinting.
They're doing that. I would have picked younger Sale.
I know
for this.
I think there's just these are. I think
you know why I thought this was this because I saw this earlier.
Yeah, the Long Halloween.
Just that.
Yeah, not the last Halloween.
And I was like, oh, I guess they're doing a reprint. That would make sense.
It does make sense.
Why wouldn't you just do that?
I agree.
I want to give a shout out to. There's a series I have it back home. I haven't had a chance to actually read it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a collection series. It's called Hello Darkness. Number 3 is coming out by Boom Studios. It's a horror anthology.
Oh, you love those.
I love those. So I'm just collecting them for right now. But I highly recommend if you like horror, especially around this time, to go grab some of these. The writers you'll find in this issue, Andy Lanning, Garth Ennis, James Tynion IV, Michael Conrad, Steve Orlando.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of great talent in this issue.
That's awesome.
So go check that out if you're looking for something kind of spooky.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a new Namor.
Oh, where? Oh, Namor number 3. I'll be definitely reading that. Jason Aaron
and
Paul Davidson.
Because also Flash is coming out too.
Really? I didn't see that.
Top.
Really?
Yeah,
where?
number 13 next to Thanos there.
Why can't I see this? Oh my god, because that's terrible. Why would you make it that color? Flash number 13. Oh my god. There's no way I can read all these books.
Nope. This is not going to happen.
There's no way with the week I have coming up.
Yep.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I hate when they do this.
I know.
This is such a mistake on their part. God.
I know.
This is me post show, by the way. This is what I'm like.
Yeah.
When I'm like, no.
Well, look, we're hit the cancellation special. I want to see what
I just did.
Great.
I already did that.
Oh. Okay. Interesting.
Interesting. Not necessarily.
Not enough for me to read it, but Kyle Holtz's art on the Lobo cancellation special. That makes sense. I checked that out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, but
okay.
I would check it out.
Anyway, that's enough. That's enough.
Isn't it?
That's enough. Oh, is The Moon is Following going to a second printing already?
Yep, it is. It's already sold out.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Also, if you are a Declan Shalvey fan, Old Dog Operations number 1 is coming out.
From Image?
From Image.
Nice.
Of course, Declan works on, it's his original creation. This one is, it's like an anthology of its own thing with P.J. Holden, Charles Soule, Rory McConneville. And by the way, one of the artists on it is Luke Sparrow, who's also drawing the Terminator series with Declan Shalvey. Dan Dragon says, hey guys, did you get a chance to see the mini movie studio Trigger made to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Transformers? No, I did not.
I want to point out, this has nothing to do with work, actually. This is everything to do with the fact that I'm going to be in a wedding this weekend.
In a wedding party.
In a wedding party. Like, I'm not just going to a wedding. I have a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah, you have speeches to give.
I have a lot going on.
Dresses to wear.
Yeah, so it's like that is why.
Yeah.
That's not one of those things where it's like, I'll have a lunch hour and I
and then just read them all. No, you're going to be driving to that wedding as well, so you won't even be able to read it to yourself. And of course, Jonathan Hickman and
Ultimate Spider-Man
number 9 is also coming out. So it's a lot of books and a lot of expectations for your wallet.
Jeez, this is an expensive week.
It is an expensive week. It's not fair.
Comic Street while you're getting your hair and makeup done. That's so happening.
Yeah. By the way, folks, keep an eye out because, of course, on the 2nd of October, the DC All In special is launching, which is going to be nuts. And so it's definitely worth checking out. So keep an eye out for that as well. And of course, if you're interested in picking up books that you didn't pre-order, go to Terminator's first issue, which is going to be coming out on October 9th. Their first release date for Absolute Batman as well. So when you see that giant chunky Batman, you'll also know that Terminator's out and there's a book written partially by me at the end of that issue.
Not the Batman one.
Not the Batman one. The Terminator one. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thanks to our super chatters for sponsoring today's show. Thank you to the chat for being cool and respectful in the chat. And thank you to Tiffany for being on the show and making it what it is today. We want to thank you all for being here. Of course, if you want to watch more Tiffany, you can at youtube.com/ComicPop or at ComicPop Plays or on twitch.tv/ComicPop. It's not going to be this week. It's going to be too much work.
So that sucks too, because last week I was too sick to do anything.
Yeah, you were ill, and now you are too busy.
Well, and then also Wednesday I have to fill in.
Yeah, and well, maybe we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see how Ben's feeling.
Oh, okay.
But no matter what, if you actually subscribe to that channel at ComicPop Plays, you'll be able to watch all these.
I'll make it up to you.
And Tiffany will make it up to you at some point.
Swear.
Yeah, we got so much more. Of course, tomorrow, All Stars. I have an interview that I'm supposed to be doing tonight in a couple of hours. We'll see if that happens. That'll be dropping on Friday if it happens, and so much more. Yeah. Yeah, Tom and I are supposed to do the show.
Yeah, I thought that was Tuesday for some reason.
No, that's tomorrow. That's today.
Oh.
I think it will happen tomorrow. We'll see. But I will be on Comic Book Club, and
No, that's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. If you check out Comic Book Club's channel, I'll be there live to hang out with Alex, Justin, and Pete and talk about Terminator and more, I'm sure. So check that out as well if you're around. But of course, there's so much here on ComicPop and ComicPop Returns. So we'll see you guys next time with another episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Thanks a lot. Bye.